Okay, Inebri-arts, before we get into today's podcast, we're just going to mention our sponsor for this month, and the sponsor for December is the 2020 South Shore Food and Wine Expo that's happening right here in Plymouth at Memorial Hall. That happens on January 18th. There's 2 sessions. There is a 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. and a 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. If you're into food and wine, this is a place to go. You can sample a ton of different wines from a ton of different vineyards. And you can purchase the wine right there. There's a whole sheet you fill out to order what you want. And all the local restaurants are providing, not all of them, but a bunch of them are providing samples. And it's a great place to go, fun place to hang out. We've been recording there, I think, the past 3 years. 3 years, Fish? Yeah, that sounds about right. And it's a great time. There's plenty to drink. There's plenty to eat. So if you're looking to get tickets to that, you can go right onto Facebook and look up the South Shore Food and Wine Expo, and you can purchase tickets right through the Facebook event. Super easy. I'm looking at it right now. Like I said, it's a fun night, nice date night or a nice girls' night out. So thanks to them, we're going to actually be back there again this year recording. So if you don't have a chance to go, you can tune in the following week to the Old Colony Cast to find out what happened, and hopefully we'll get some incriminating interviews from some patrons who've had a little too much to drink. So check it out, the 2020 South Shore Food and Wine Expo right here in Plymouth. Thanks for listening. So today I learned that your B12 level can be low based on drinking. And I'm like, I wonder why that is.
Huh. Interesting.
I'm like, all right, let's glance over that one and just figure out where you can get more B12.
Yep, health food store.
Yeah, vitamin.
Yep.
Red meat. So I'm like, okay.
All right.
Cheeseburgers more often.
Cool.
Welcome back, Inebri-arts. This is Andy, the Inebri-art podcast, and we are back again at the Dirty Water Distillery, recording on a chilly friggin' December day. And it's kind of fitting that we're here.
Yes.
Because technically, your first appearance in my life, I feel like everyone should have a first appearance in my life, was at Mayflower. But the first time we hung out and chit-chatted was here. So we were with Phil Cash from Brothers Cash.
Yes, hello.
A pop-up food vendor, is that?
Yes.
I mean, because you don't have a food truck.
No.
But you pimp into breweries and distilleries and set up and...
Yeah, wherever we can find a cool little spot to set up a little cooking gear and feed some people, we like doing that.
Yeah, so you guys were here doing brunch one day, and I live 2 staggering blocks away, so I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'll go down and get something to eat. And it was amazing. You're doing French toast roll-ups, I believe?
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, they've been floating around our menu for a little while.
They were pretty great. I had at Mayflower, I had the kale soup. And the thing that impressed me was I saw you guys at Mayflower, and you're like, yeah, you had the kale soup. And I'm like, okay, I can't remember people's name for 5 secones, and you remembered what I got ordered 2 weeks ago.
Was that me or was that Nick?
It was you, I think.
Really? That's pretty surprising.
Maybe it was Nick.
I might have. You have I feel like I would recognize you again coming up for kale soup. We don't sell a lot of kale soup at breweries because the soup scene, people just drinking beer, don't want the warm liquid.
Yeah.
So,
but I really like kale soup. I really like kale soup. And yours was excellent because it's cream based, which was. I remember I looked in the cup and went, "Oh, okay."
A little different than what.
I
wasn't
expecting, but it was amazing.
Thank you.
So the other brother's Nick.
Yes, my younger brother Nick.
Yeah, and he's not here, so we can talk as much shit as we want about him. That's his fault. So how did this all come to be? How did you start this? Did you go to chef school?
No. Okay. I would never consider myself a chef. I just don't have the background. I'm still learning the whole food industry. I didn't have a background really much to do with cooking.
What did you do before?
I was an accountant. So I went to school for accounting.
So this makes total sense. Like, why wouldn't you just be like, fuck it, I'm going to go make food?
Yeah. I don't know. I call it like, I feel like I'm 28 and already had like a couple life crises trying to figure out what the heck I wanted to do.
The weird thing is, I feel like you probably have a better jump start on other, because I feel like chefs are going to come out of chef school and be like, I'm going to open a restaurant. Keep what books? What's going on? So, like, I feel like you have at least that going in. You know what you need to keep track of. And
yeah, I think that's why I was like a little more. I don't want to even say confident because I wasn't too confident jumping into it, but it was like something I always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Little fat kid, loved food, loved eating it, so figured out how to cook it, and kind of just rode that for a while. And I don't know. I think the books aspect gave me more confidence, like at least understanding kind of like categorically what you need to spend in order to sell food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It kind of started as a hobby, like friends and parties and having people over to eat, whatever it may be. I always loved that kind of entertaining world. Or I never really liked leaving the house. I liked leaving the house, but I always felt like it was way cooler when you hung out at home with your friends, having drinks, and a little more intimate, and you guys could hang,
Yeah, and then you can be like, oh, I made this cool thing, and you feed everybody, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So, when was your maiden voyage, and where was it?
So,
and how do you sell someone on being like, I've never done this before?
Start with your friends.
Okay.
I have a lot of great friends who came out to kind of help me figure out what we were doing, kind of. We had a couple dinner parties with friends, plated dinner parties. And that's kind of the world we like living in. I think it's a little more creative and it's a little more fun. We'd put 4 to 5 course dinner parties on for friends, and they'd come out and help us figure out if our food was even good enough to kind of bring to the public.
Yeah.
And kind of just work on some organization, because we're moving everything everywhere we go.
Yeah.
We have a van full of stuff, setting up a mini kitchen wherever we end up, So
now, do you have that one friend? Because a lot of people do stuff like this and be like, oh, I brought it to my friends, or I showed my friends my movie or played them my song, and friends are friends, so never will be like, no, this is really good, I would totally buy it. But you have that one friend who's gonna be like, this is bullshit, this is fucking terrible, what is wrong with you? That true friend that is gonna just lay it on the line, and so when they say, wow, this is really good, they're like, all right, I got something here.
I'd say no friends were. Everyone was super supportive of it, and really behind me, and wanted to see me do good. I think I got a lot of. I don't want to even say critiquing, but more knowledge. Nick has worked in the industry for years, bouncing around different restaurants, and he knows the commercial restaurant scene. So, me having Nick be a part of this was huge. I think he helped me kind of rein in my crazy ideas to make them more functional, or just help me with the knowledge I don't have.
You can't do that all the time.
Exactly. Just time saving things. When you're making a lot of food, you don't really.
He was kind of giving you shit the one day because you were fucking up the.
Yeah, something. I'm sure.
You were. I think you were making yourself a French toast.
Oh, and he didn't like how I was doing it.
That's not how you do it.
Yeah. Nick makes everything look so pretty. Nick is Nick is my calming energy. I get kind of anxious, and when stuff like that's
going on. He's a super chill dude.
Yeah. Always has been.
Yeah. He works at a grow house. You have to be super chill.
Yeah, for sure.
So where was the first place?
Oh,
the first
friend's
place.
House first official, I'd say.
When you're putting yourself out there, be all right, this is the day it either works or I go down in flames and I try again.
Totally. We had a little party at Bramhall's, actually.
Ben was nice enough to let us. Bramhall's awesome.
So cool.
Yeah.
Does so much great for local entrepreneurs, local people, just trying to support the people who live in their hometown.
I always talk about the Plymouth people.
Yeah.
And the Plymouth people have this mentality of where you can go be like, hey, I want to do this, and yeah, right on, cool, let's do it. And be like, I didn't even tell you what it was yet, and they're like, whatever, cool, let's do it. And Bem is that guy to the nth degree, where you can be like, I want to do this, and he's like, great, cool. Right.
Yeah, he's so rad. He let us kind of take over the space for a night. We decorated a little more inside. had a bunch of my friends and some local people in to like, we did 5 or 6 courses that night.
Nice.
And it was kind of like the big reveal. Like we finally put menus on the tables and stuff like that. You know what I mean? After we've been working on just like figuring out what we could bring for that many people. I don't know. It was a cool reveal, and I felt like we had something once that happened. It looked cool inside.
What was like the big takeaway lesson? Because there had to be that one thing where you're like, oh shit, we should have brought toothpicks, or like that one thing where you're like, oh, I can't believe we forgot forks. We should have brought forks. We're better than that.
Every single place I show up, I'm still forgetting something. Tori, my wife, usually
doesn't go away, by the way.
No, heck no. Tori, my wife, usually comes in a separate car just in case like there's that one other thing that like, because we're moving everything from like every piece of food, every piece of equipment needed. If you forget the extension cord, you know what I mean? There's so many pieces to it, so we're always like leaving something behind, or we're working out a commissary kitchen out in Kingston too. So like we're moving our stuff from there to our location and back, and like you're always forgetting something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wasn't nothing crucial yet, so that's been like that's.
Well, that's pretty good.
I have left like the whole dumpling trays in the kitchen though when you're serving dumplings. But luckily we had 2 cars that night.
It's kind of one of those, you have to develop a routine and a method, and you can tell when you get that connection. I mean, it's got to help because you guys are married, but where you will eventually kind of don't have to speak. It's just kind of comes like, all right, she's going to take care of this and I'm going to take care of that. Totally. Are you guys there yet, or is it still kind of like, where's this? Already moved it to the car, that kind of thing,
I think we're there in certain aspects.
Yeah.
We're not really consistent with much of what we're doing. So like every place we go, we try to at least throw a couple new menu items or switch it up a little bit. We never usually come with like the same menu.
Yep.
And I think that's been awesome, but also kind of challenging.
Right.
Because you are setting up like new processes.
I got the dumplings. We're not making dumplings.
Yeah. Like, even just like the new recipes and stuff, just trying to be creative with kind of like what we're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're there. We're working in sync all the time now.
She's not going to listen to this. You can be honest.
Oh, no. She will. She's awesome.
Yeah. Spouses never listen.
No, we're buzzing. We're buzzing around the kitchen, usually with just music playing and doing our thing. And yeah, I mean, you're always forgetting something, but I think we got a pretty good system down, organized bins and everything else.
When you brought this to her and been like, "Hey, I'm an accountant, but I'm gonna go become a pop-up cook," because she won't say chef. Was she like, "Fuck yeah," or was she like, "What?"
Tori's always been super supportive with all my crazy ideas and plans, and she embraced it from day one. I remember the day, like we were sitting outside of Moab National Park.
Okay.
In the Colorado River, like redstone around us, and we're just sitting there and talking about how cool it would be. Like we lived out west for a little while. We've bounced around all over the place. She was a traveling occupational therapist, and we were able to kind of bounce around 3-4 month rotations in different places while I was working remotely doing accounting work. And it was on our way back. We had left Philadelphia in like 2017 and took out west. Or no, yeah, probably the beginning of 2017. And it was kind of on our way home. It was our last trip across before we were like moving home for a substantial amount of time.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of talking about like how rad would it be to do some cool stuff like that. And yeah, she was supportive the whole time. Always has been.
I said she's not going to listen, man. You can. No, I think that's awesome. So when you are working on dishes, is it you? Is it Nick? 'Cause you said Nick is the presentation guy.
Yeah.
Do you kind of come to him and be like, "This is what I want to do," and he's like, "This is how you make it pretty"?
Totally. Yeah, or like me and Nick hang out all the time, so he'll come over. I'll be like messing around in the kitchen, just kind of working with stuff.
How are you not 4,000 pounds?
I've been packing on the pounds.
I've had
recently.
your food, and I'm like, I can't be too friendly with this guy.
We try to work heavily in like fresh veg and local veg and stuff like that when we can.
Yeah.
Or when the event. When the event kind of accepts, I mean, you kind of tailor a menu to what kind of event you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the brewery food is like a little heavier and a little more.
You want something to sop up the beer.
Yeah. A little more food of substance.
Yeah.
When the farmers market, we try to partner with some local farmers and bring their delicious, beautiful produce to like the forefront.
And you know Farmer Dave.
I know Farmer Dave. Yes,
of course. Yeah.
Farmer Dave's been awesome to us.
I feel like Farmer Dave is the closest thing that we have to like a godfather of Plymouth.
Yeah.
Like, no one... It's like... So, perfect example. We had this thing at Mayflower, and Sarah at Mayflower was like, hey, my farmer friend wants to be part of it. And I know you said you're sold out, but can you fit someone else? And I'm like, is your farmer friend Farmer Dave? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to tell Farmer Dave no. What are you, crazy? I'm like, I'd be run out of town with, like, pitchforks and like... He's the nicest dude. Everybody fucking loves that guy.
Yeah. Dave's been awesome to us. He was actually at our first pop-up at Bram Halls, and that spiraled into a summer spot at the Plymouth Farmers Market. And, I mean, we're there this winter. We're there at the holiday market next Thursday. And then we'll be there all winter. It's bi-monthly.
He's trying to get me to, like, record there, and I'm always like, yeah, man, it's just... Thursday, like, not quite evening, which is always tough to make.
We run till like 6:30, so you can sneak out, but I know it's a little limiting. Yeah, totally.
When you get out of work at 5.
Yeah, we get prepared food, come for dinner.
All right. I don't think my boss will hear this. I could call out. And Fish, what are you doing next Thursday? All right, maybe we'll be there.
We'll definitely be. We'll be bringing some tacos, usually some seasonal soups. So
when you're coming up with your menus, like, where do you get inspiration? I mean, tacos are... I mean, come on now. Who doesn't like tacos? But,
yeah, right.
You know, you had some cool stuff here. You had a biscuit and gravy, which is not traditionally a New England dish. It was amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I kind of like... I dive back into like my memories of just eating. I think as a kid, I was lucky enough to know 2 or 3 of my great grandparents.
Yeah.
So I just like even eating with them and like just traditionally like what
was cooking fun. Like always a thing in your family, or like you know the grandmas cooked and
for sure.
Yeah.
Grandmother, my mother, both grandmothers, my mom, my dad liked to cook too. I mean, everyone was we ate good.
Yeah.
Me and Nick were both like portly little boys.
Oh, fuck him because I'm a portly old man.
Means you must be eating good then.
Yeah, because I come hang out with you and other people.
Heck yeah.
I'm a fat guy. I made friends with all the chefs in town.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So when you're coming up with these ideas, you know, like I said, tacos, obviously. But do you kind of like harken back to those days and be like, oh, you know, my grandmother used to make this, and you know, my father used to make that, and kind of like try and modernize it and make it your own thing?
Totally. Yeah, even just like flavor profiles of like what I remember eating as a kid. That like I remember like getting giddy when like certain dishes came out. You know what I mean? Or, like when I knew my grandmother was making something, I remember like legitimately like getting excited.
Like what was her thing? Like
just from like the pastas and the tudelings on both sides of the family and.
Wait, what?
Tudelings.
I don't even know what that is.
Little tortellini stuffed with Romano or Pecorino cheese and ground pork. Little nutmeg.
So they would make these like from scratch.
Oh yeah, we're rolling pasta dough. I actually just did it at my grandmother's house last Sunday. We kind of do like a traditional Christmas day. Nice. Actually, on both sides, like my mom's side and my dad's side.
So are they super jazzed, like what you're doing now? Being like, "Oh, we're so happy you're not an accountant anymore."
I mean, it's funny. I think you get my grandmother's old school, right?
Yeah,
like one of them anyway, and like, oh, you never want to leave the job that's paying you, right?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, the leap has been fun, and like everyone's been super supportive. Like. Every night we're doing something, my grandparents come through, my dad, comes through. My mom comes through. Yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
I think everyone's digging it, you know?
So we were talking earlier about going out and getting a 2019 calendar.
Yes.
And we had to correct you. It's 2020.
Yes. Can't believe it.
Yeah. But so what do you have planned for next year? Like, where do you see Brothers Cash going? Like, what is your, what do they say, 1 year, 5 year, 10-year plan?
Tough question, Andy.
I asked the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, I don't know
what is in the biscuit gravy.
I don't know if I have a plan. I'm kind of riding this and trying to just like familiarize myself again with Plymouth and the people that are doing cool shit in Plymouth.
Yeah.
I left and went to Philadelphia in 2009 to go to college. I was down there till like 2017. Like, obviously I was coming back.
How long have you been back? That's only 2 years.
No, and then we were like kind of traveling around for a little while. We moved back here last July.
So Brothers Cash kicked off
2
when?
Julys ago.
2 Julys ago would have been 2017.
So
No, 2018 July. Yeah.
July of 2018 we moved back into Plymouth. Yeah, so not too long.
So when did you officially kick off? Like, when did Brothers Cash officially start? I feel like you guys...
probably this March we did the thing at Bramhall's.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys make it look like you've been doing it a long time.
Dope.
Because, I mean, I see people that I know have been doing it a long time, and you look the same as... I mean, they're less beardy.
Sure.
But, you know, they pretty much look the same as you.
Cool.
Are there local breweries that you're like, oh, I want to get in there? Or, like...
I think the brewery scene in Plymouth is so cool. Me and
Yeah.
Tor would always talk about it in our travels, like how we wanted to come back to Plymouth and like just see the things that we had to... Oh.
Yep, that happens.
Yeah. See all the things
Oh, is T-Bones open?
Oh, man. Monday, yeah. Probably. We're seeing so many, like, we're traveling all over the place, so we're seeing so many cool things that we didn't think were in Plymouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And coming back, and I think when you leave at a young age, you have this view of it. You look at it through, like, your naive young eyes, and you didn't see, or, like, things become habitual. Like, even, like, driving through cranberry fields and stuff, once you're doing it for 17 years and you don't know any different, it becomes kind of like the common backdrop.
Yeah, like, meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then when you're away and you come back, it's like, I used to love Plymouth. Like, I was a Plymouth kid. Like, everyone was raised in Plymouth, grandparents, great-grandparents, everyone, you know? And so I loved the town. I loved the history. I knew a little bit about, like, or, like, their own stories of history, you know what I mean? And I think coming back, I kind of resented it for a little while. I wanted to move away, get away, go see other things, you know what I mean? Then when you came back, you appreciate the things that you were kind of just driving by for so many years. Like, you appreciate the true uniqueness of, like, the area.
Yeah. I apologize for our steady listeners because I am about to gush about Plymouth again. But it has this great mix between... You know, I grew up in Whitman, which is just a small podunk town. There's like 8 stores in the center of town. We got a McDonald's finally. You know, and there's just nothing going on. And like, I remember being a kid being like, there's nothing going on. And now, even as an adult, I look back and go, yeah, there's not much going on there. And so I moved to Plymouth, and it's like, it kind of has those suburban areas, but if you're downtown, it kind of feels a little Boston-y.
Totally.
So it's got like if Boston and Whitman had a baby. And it was huge. Like a big fat baby because Plymouth is enormous.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. You know, if you drive 2-3 miles out of town, out of the center, it is suburban, you know?
Totally. Through and through.
Yeah, and then you get downtown and it's kind of that hip. There's always something going on. There's music playing every night somewhere. And
a lot of local, great local artists.
Hey, we're getting Rinks Brickfield.
Really?
Yeah, Jesse's girl.
Jesse's girl. Oh, I know.
He's coming to Memorial Hall in January.
Really cool. I actually just saw, who did I see there that was like pretty, like Lone Star, and someone else was like
Lone
pretty.
Star? What the hell's Lone Star?
They're like a poppy country band.
I swear to God, I thought you were going to say they were cunt. And I'm like, wow, dude, I know I said explicit, but whatever.
That's too much. Who else was in?
Oh,
someone else was
oh, God. Recently, like Gordon Lightfoot, Melissa Etheridge.
Etheridge was here, yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's huge.
Was Pat Benatar there? Is that my... Wallflowers were there.
Wallflowers, yes. One headlight.
Piff the Magic Dragon was there.
Not familiar. I remember like the song, kind of.
No, that's Puff the Magic Dragon.
Oh, gee, sorry.
You should check him out. He's like this British magician who's super dry and sarcastic, and he does his whole shtick in a reasonably good dragon costume, but not like real good.
Cool, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah, they're getting some great people through here, and it's becoming that destination.
I think Plymouth is changing quite a bit. Even from like my short time on this earth, you know, I mean, like I think I've seen so much change around here, and I think there's a lot of people moving in here who don't understand the history. I'm not talking about the natives and the pilgrims and not that kind of history, kind of like more modern history of
Dylan played here.
Yes. That's insanity.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Because I remember that came up when the Wildfires were playing, because, you know, the lead singer is his son. So it's just like, yeah, you know.
I didn't know
father,
that.
Yeah, they're like, oh, his father played here, like, you know, back in the 60s or something. So,
okay, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, it's when your town's been around for 400 years, some shit happened here.
Totally.
You know?
But it wasn't that long ago. Like, my dad's 62 years old. There was one traffic light in this whole town when he was a kid.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, yeah, there wasn't...
How was the parking?
Probably much better than it is right now.
Not throwing much shade, but, you know.
Even, like, the Pine Hills area, the shops at 5, like, all that was just, like, woods.
Do you know what I'm really excited about?
Hit me.
This is going to seem weird. Cordage Park.
Me too.
I feel like Cordage Park is going to be, like, the next big booming area in town. Because putting in those condos, they just redid the marina. You got 3V over there.
Totally.
You got the Black Raz, which is...
Kicking.
The Black Raz.
Totally.
You know, it's that... What a yin-yang symbol of restaurants between 3V and the Black Raz.
Yeah, I think... I love the Black Raz. I love 3V.
Oh,
I
like
both.
them both.
Yeah.
But they, you know, they're two different nights that you go out. One night you go out for 3V, one night you go out for Black Raz, and they're not going to cross over.
I've been to a Black Raz... I couldn't even count how many times. 3V, I've actually only been once, but I've been to all the other Fiscarello family restaurants.
Yeah. We've been there recently because I think we can announce this now. Inebri-art will be hanging art at 3V.
Dope.
Yeah, so we're very excited about
that's
that.
Cool.
Thanks, man. And we were there when it was the Rue Bar, but you know, we've drank booze out of fish bowls at Black Raz. Like, they have like that plastic fish bowl and be like, it's like $4, and you'd be like, I don't care what's in it. It's yeah, and you know, it's just a cool location, and they're doing like food truck rallies and concerts and shit down there.
Totally.
I think it's gonna be like a really cool place.
It's historically what kind of made this town what it is.
Yeah,
it's like they pushed so much rope out of there. It shipped internationally. All my grandparents or
pushing rope. I hear that happens to lots of guys.
Yeah. Everyone was working down there, and like even all the houses you see in North Plymouth were all company owned, and like people were renting to buy.
Oh yeah, people would like live in the company house until they got situated or whatever. Or
the company would take a portion of their paycheck, and it would be like a rent to purchase agreement. Like all those houses you see going up Cordage Terrace and Spooner and like all those streets out there were all owned by one company, and like they slowly kind of built up that scene in North Plymouth. Not the scene, but like built those houses and created a life for a lot of people. So is Brothers Cash looking in the future to be like Brothers Cash restaurant, Brothers Cash food truck? I don't know. Hard to define it right now. Kind of just riding the wave of like figuring out what the next step is. Yeah. I think the dream originally was always a food truck, right? But as I'm doing more and more of these pop-up things, it seems a little limiting. The truck, like, if we want to get out and go do some cool things with some cool friends we have, like, you can't get out there with food trucks and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like there's a moratorium on food trucks in downtown Plymouth, so you can't do that. And
yeah, it just seems to be a tough industry right now, especially in this area when you get a lot of great restaurants and they're all kind of paying their dues and have been here for so long, you know, for like a new scene to pop up. Like, I can understand why it would ruffle feathers or like...
And that's something that's very true. It's super competitive.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
I feel like it's this weird, like, everyone's friends, but it's very competitive because, you know, there's a shitload of breweries, but still it's only a limited number. So how do you kind of try to set yourself apart from... So here's the thing. There's Wolf Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
They make pizza.
Heck yeah.
There's the Dragon Wagon. They make egg rolls. There's Fat Boyfriend, who I think is on hiatus, but he makes pretzels. Is it an advantage or disadvantage because Brothers Cash makes food? So you have much more leeway to kind of be like, I'm going to make this and I'm going to make that, opposed to being like, I'm known for this one thing.
Huh. Advantage and disadvantage, I think.
Yeah, that doesn't really answer the question.
Yeah, okay.
That's a.
I like it. So, all right. I look at it as an opportunity right now to find our market in a way. I can't say like I haven't been honing a craft of one thing for years and years. You know.
Yeah.
I kind of like just had cooked everything that I've wanted to eat or tried or. So I think it's an advantage right now because we don't have our little avenue yet.
Right.
So we're kind of changing up, bringing people like what we think people would enjoy and kind of like playing off of that. And when we find something that people are liking, we bring it back and like alter it a little bit and just tweaking things right now until I think the end game would probably be to have the thing, though, you know? I think that's how you do it when you have the thing that you're
known for.
Yeah. And like all the processes and you're just efficient. Like it becomes efficient to do one thing or known for one thing.
But you know, it's just so funny because like I can see how it's, you know, you're like, okay, this is great because we're going to be known for macaroni and cheese. But after a while, you're like, I'm just adding other things to macaroni and cheese. Like, at what point you're like, all right, I'm tired of this.
Totally.
So I feel like you guys have that, you know, ace in the hole where you can be like, fuck it, we're not going to make macaroni and cheese for you because I don't feel like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Is there one thing that you're like, I hate eggs. I'm not going to make eggs. You know, like, what's the one thing where you're like, I don't...
Nothing. I'm game for everything. I've never been picky. If you put something in front of me to try, I'll do it. I haven't done anything like thousands and thousands of time where I'm like repulsed by it yet. You know what I mean?
Is there one thing that you're like, oh, I definitely want to do enchiladas, or what's on your food bucket list? Escargot smoothies?
Oh yeah. How did you know? I really like homemade pasta. I think it just hits different. The homemade pasta is just like so much.
Even when you buy, I don't know if I've had to have had homemade pasta at some point, but even the difference between like the fresh pasta that you get in like the refrigerated section opposed to the stuff that's shelf stable,
totally,
is hugely different.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see where people would be kind of interested in. Could see where people would be interested in that difference. And
yeah,
is it tomato based?
The sauce,
Alfredo. Yeah, I'm hungry.
I'm a huge tomato based fan.
Yeah.
And just like seasonally, we can work with those farmers who are like growing these local tomatoes that are all so delicious. You know what I mean? And I think that's another, getting back to opportunity of changing menus and like not having a thing.
Yeah.
We can kind of like work seasonally with what's being produced.
Sure.
I don't have a great amount of knowledge on that, but
yeah.
I'm starting to learn and like working with people locally to like...
Because you're not ever going to get to that point being like, I'm trying to cook with asparagus and it's out of season.
Yeah.
So my asparagus food truck is going to have to sit for 6 months.
Exactly.
All right, quick. What would you name an asparagus food truck?
Something with stock.
I was trying to think of something with smelly pea.
Oh, Traces tomorrow.
Oh, I like that. Ask grass or asparagus. All right, that's it.
Love it.
That's it. We're all going in together on the asparagus food truck.
All right.
Now that we got off on that fucked up tangent. But speaking of locally grown, you hooked us up with Tyler for an interview.
Yes, I listened to that.
He was amazing.
Right?
And he walked in and I was like, oh, he's so cute.
No, I think...
he blew me away because I'm going to be like, oh, he looked like he's my son's age. No, he is my son's age. I think they're like a year apart, maybe.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, we just sold Phil some microgreens out in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh my god, I want a cop to pull you two over so badly.
What are you guys doing over here?
It's
it's micro arugula. What is in these clamshells? Micro arugula, pea shoots, and micro basil.
And then the copying on the phone being like, what's the arugula?
Is that one of those new?
Is that a class 1? Like, how do I write this?
Do you put that in a vape pen?
So how do you find these local people to work with? Because, I mean, he's amazing, and I mean, what a great story. He just kind of was like, this is what I'm gonna do, and
oh yeah, it was really rad.
Yeah.
Tyler hit us up on Instagram.
So he approached you guys?
Yeah, and kind of just like. And it was right at the time me and Tori were off getting married and whatnot, so I was kind of like a little delayed in getting back to him, and he was like consistent and like not in an annoying consistent way, just like a, hey, if you need it, let me know. I'm coming through Plymouth.
Just checking in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that's rad, like because there's some people who are on the opposite end of that. Like now that you start a business and like your phone number's out there, you just get constantly harassed by people.
Oh my god, yeah. I fucking hate those people.
I'm getting someone from Yelp who calls me 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Like, hey, dude, I don't want to pay you right now. Or like, not that I don't want to. I just like, you're bugging me. I got other things going on.
Did you hear about because Yelp is such a hot button topic and fucking restaurant owners hate Yelp.
Yeah, it's a tough.
So Yelp has a policy where you can't offer discounts or things in exchange for a review. So this restaurant owner was getting pissed at Yelp, and he's like, if you give me a 1-star review on Yelp, I'll give you 15% off or whatever. Just because like, fuck Yelp.
He wanted the ones.
He's like, I'm drive my score down the lowest possible. And Yelp reached out to him and they're like, you can't do that. And he's like, what are you going to do? Take me off the site. Like, I'm breaking the rule. Take me off the site. Do what you want.
That's funny.
And I'm like, that is fucking amazing because you're absolutely breaking their rules in the best way possible.
The Yelp reverse psychology.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love that.
Yeah, so you do get approached by those people.
Yeah, I think Instagram has been a really cool, like, I've always been, like, so anti-social media in a way. Like, at times I've popped up with social media. Like, in college I had to, like, I was in a social media class, so I had to start a Twitter, and then, like, I hammered Twitter. You know what I mean? Just with, like, we had to make a blog and everything else. So, like, I feel like I've had, like, these big dumps of social media and then kind of, like, revert back.
Then you disappear. Yeah.
So, like, what a shitty social media user. You're not playing into the algorithms. You're not playing into any of that stuff.
But now, do you find it as a useful tool?
Oh, I think we kind of got into this world through Instagram in a way.
Yeah.
I was kind of just, like, posting things that I like to eat and, like, was cooking some things at home, like, on my little 2-burner stove, and people were like, oh, that's rad, like, we like watching this happen, and like I knew I always wanted to like give my food to more than just my friends or like in a public setting, because I honestly just like the feedback.
Yeah.
I think food is such an interesting thing. Everyone is raised so differently with different tastes and different experiences with food. So to just get it into the hands of other people to see what they think, I think is kind of cool.
Yeah. Have you thought about like steering more into that social media curve? Like are you considering like a YouTube channel? Yeah.
Yes, I feel like I just don't.
Cooking with Cash.
The content,
that's true. You could wear. Oh, all right. Cooking with Cash. You're wearing a luchador mask.
That'd be good.
That'd be pretty great.
I've always thought about creating more content. I think we live in a world now where it's like very content driven and content pays, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's always been an avenue that I've like. I don't know. I've kind of wanted to explore, but it's like a lot of work.
Yeah, and it's, I feel like kids will be like, I just want to be like a YouTube celebrity. Yeah. I'm just going to film things. It's like, yeah, you got to make it interesting. You got to work hard at it. But I feel like, because people will like shit all over kids being like, oh, that's unrealistic. But like, how many kids are like, oh, I'm going to grow up and play in the major leagues? It's like, no, you're not. You know. So I just feel like
it's a new
that's
avenue.
Yeah, and that's just a normal thing for people who want to do something cool without realizing that it's cool, but none of it's easy. It's all work. No matter how easy it is, it's work.
Totally. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, even, what about the kid who just won like millions of dollars playing video games or something? Like, that wasn't a thing growing up.
But and people
I don't know if it was like millions or a million or
right.
a little less, but like still.
And people be like, "Oh, I wish I could get paid. I could sit around and play video games." You're like, "Yeah, but that's what he did.
Yeah,
like,
he gave up like crucial things like fresh air, sunlight, and other things to like win a million.
Social interactions with human beings.
It's a give and take always.
Yeah, but I mean that's very true. Like I saw. Are you familiar with Johnny Cupcakes?
Like the brand?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I saw Johnny Earl, the owner, speak, and someone's like, oh, what's the one thing that you would give advice for? And he's like, be boring. He's like, when your friends are going out, you're going back to work on whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to succeed by working harder than anyone else. So be boring. You're not going to go to every party. You're not going to go to every concert. You're going to put in that time to record a podcast on a Monday night.
Totally.
When you could be doing something else because it's what you love to do.
Yeah, I think I've always been kind of boring. I was always
Yeah, I know, man. This is like the worst fucking episode we've ever had. It feels so dull.
I always I appreciated being boring. I wasn't like a massive partier. Like, I like to party and like have fun, but like it wasn't like I was in gung-ho to go leave the house and get on the next taxi to head into the city in college or anything,
Right.
Like, come over, have fun, we'll like drink a couple beers, maybe smoke a joint or something, and
right.
hang
But
out,
it's one of those, it's like, it's quote-unquote boring, but really it's fun. Like, if you're not passionate about it, then you're not going to do it.
Totally. I think that's what makes some of these brewery pop-ups and things even cooler for me, is like, I don't have to go and like hang out and just like drink for like I like the atmosphere, like the social, like how heavily us and like this generation is relying on alcohol as like a social dynamic is kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. You know what I mean?
I feel like your generation is less into it.
Really?
I feel like your generation is more the Smoky McPotheads.
That's true. Now it's
which I'm not judging.
Yeah.
But I feel like my generation was the binge drinking alcoholic,
Interesting.
keg stand, drink till you throw up.
Yeah, I think maybe we see it more now, just because it's like everything is documented.
It's also, it's not just documented, yes, but it's also like, with my generation, it was you had the local pub or you're drinking in the woods, Like you had a fake ID or you're drinking in the woods. And now it's like there's breweries, there's, craft this and craft cocktails, and it's been elevated to the point where it's, you're not drinking shit beer just to get hammered. You're like,
Yes.
I want to drink something that tastes good.
That's actually a very good point. Like, as we sit here in this beautiful distillery, they make delicious alcohol and liquor.
And they have a whole new brewery.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I actually kind of know Andy a little bit because
Yeah. Andy's fucking great.
Yeah.
Whatever. He's not better because he's taller.
No, I think,
regardless of what everyone else says.
I think places like this, like, reinvented kind of that scene. It allows people like a different outlet to go out and like hang out and experience something that, like, experience where stuff's being made, and it's cool. Like all the breweries and
it gives them
feel the passion.
Yeah,
a
and
little more.
you feel the passion. You experience something new, but it's also like, you know, when you have, I'm gonna piss off some people, but when you have Miller High Life. And you're like, hey, this is great. And then you go and you have a craft beer that was worked really hard on and made in a small batch. And you're like, whoa, okay, this is what beer should taste like. It's the same thing with, you know, a small distillery like this or a pop-up that's like, I'm going to locally source things. So my produce is as fresh as it can be, and it's not, you know, jarred or canned or coming from Wisconsin or wherever.
Totally.
Once you get exposed to that, it's hard to kind of go back.
I think anything with passion is like so hard to scale. So like,
Absolutely, yeah.
when you get into like the big volume scaling of like millions of beer cans, like you can't put that much love into that because like you have to make so many of them. There's just not enough time. Machinery even isn't that good anymore. So like when you get drinks or beers from places like this, you taste things that you don't taste usually because people are here. People are doing it who give a shit about it. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not running down a big line.
For someone who worked in a corporate big box store, when the manager goes to the middle manager and goes, do you know how long it takes for someone to go to the bathroom and come back and get back to work? Passion's gone.
Totally.
You know, because it's like, it's not about the product. You're counting some number on some spreadsheet. And I feel like with what they're doing here at Dirty Water, what you're doing is you're an accountant. I guarantee you have spreadsheets, but
you better believe it.
I don't feel like that is the end-all, be-all. I think it's more about the product.
Totally. And I think that's getting back to that other question of like what the future holds. Like
more spreadsheets?
Definitely spreadsheets. I like spreadsheets. I like listing, post-it notes, and spreadsheets.
You're the only person who goes onto Pornhub and searches spreadsheet.
It's too good. Yeah, I think that's a thing. I don't want to lose. What I want to present for flavors or like food because I have to put out so much of it.
Yeah,
I like spending time, like putting love into it. So like that's why I don't know what the answer to that question is. Like, what's next? Because I don't know like how big we can scale and keep like what we want to do.
And then have Nick tell you doing it wrong.
Yeah. Or help me make it perfect.
Yeah. No, I think what you guys are doing is fucking great. Obviously, because I think every time you come to Dirty Water, I try to get down here.
Heck yeah. I'm trying to schedule some more dates tonight, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like you have a calendar and it's 2020 and
yes, a true 2020 calendar.
True 2020 calendar. Yes. The first one I got, I was so pissed. It went to like July.
Dang.
And I'm like, what the fuck good is this?
Yeah,
who makes a calendar only till July?
I have one like that too. My 2019 into 20 just goes to July.
Yeah.
But now I have a fresh one because the other one I was writing in pen. So when stuff falls through, like the pen is hard to get.
But you know what's weird is I write it in pen.
Yeah.
But it's not real. Like when it's really booked, I highlight it.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can still scratch out pen.
Right.
That's what
so then when you look at like the December month, it's nothing but fucking highlighter.
Oh, yeah. See, that's a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it works for me.
Tori was getting so mad at me because I was using pen on the calendar. She's like, you got to stop doing that. I was like, I don't know. It's just the pen's always with me.
Yeah. So you sound like you're a paper calendar kind of guy.
Oh, big time paper guy.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like the environmental impact, but like
I save mine.
Yeah, it's like
I have calendars for like the past 3 or 4 years. Don't fucking ask me why.
Cool.
But when it's done, I just like put it on the shelf and be like, oh, that year's done. And I can go back and look. If there's
like
ever a legal reason why they suspect me of killing someone, I have an alibi.
I know exactly where I was.
Yeah.
See, it's right here in pen and highlighter.
It's highlighted. I was definitely there. Yeah, I don't know why. It's weird. I have a shelf with I think it's 3 calendars now.
Yeah, and I bet it's going to stay there probably for like 40 years because it's something like you never want to really get rid of.
No, but I feel like every great once in a while someone's going to be like, what's this? And I'm going to be like, oh, those are my calendars. And then you can start like flipping through and be like, oh my God, I remember this day, or this was so weird, or what the fuck is this?
Heck yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'm really excited to see what you guys got coming.
Thank you.
I think your food's phenomenal.
Right on.
The biscuit and gravies need to come back. Because, dude, that is like winter, wholesome, fat kid food.
Yeah, it was Charisse gravy.
Oh, dude,
too.
So good. It has to be served by the trough, though. Like,
Ooh, yeah,
I will take a
that.
trough of biscuit and gravy.
Right on.
Yeah.
Sell it by the quart.
Yeah. So thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, no problem.
And this is what, I think this is the 4th time we've ever talked.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're super tight.
Hell yeah.
Because, I mean, you were one of those Plymouth people that, like, the first time I talked to you, I'm like, this guy has to fucking come on the podcast. Because he's like, yeah, let's do it, whatever. Yeah, great. Let's make it awesome.
I think a lot of people here, and like as I start diving into a little more, like so open, like you were saying earlier, people are just like wanting to do things.
Yeah.
And like,
even when they should be in direct competition with you.
Yeah, I think that was kind of fascinating. When I first like entered, I didn't want people to think I was like, I don't know, I felt weird. You know what I mean? I didn't want to sell something that if someone else was selling it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But everyone was so like, no, dude, just do you. There are plenty of people that are buying stuff, and like
when we first started, we were doing those, paint nights with the canvases and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And we inadvertently booked into a place that already had someone doing it. And so I felt fucking awful. So I get on the phone and be like, hey, listen, I'm not trying to step on your toes, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, it's cool. There's plenty of places.
Yeah.
How one's yours? And I'm like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
So, and that's how this town rolls. It's like people are like, great. We can all work together.
I was just super excited that everyone was like so down with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People are like, I think the demographic now, like the demograpic's always changing around here. I think you see all these townhomes and things going in with people from out of town, almost like retiring to Plymouth. And
yeah, there's a lot of that.
That's a new kind of demographic that wasn't really here, like affluent retirees.
People with money.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the younger kids from like a little bit north of here are coming down to Plymouth to buy homes and stuff like that. So you're starting to see more and more like, I don't know, I don't want to say middle age, but like younger adults or like professionals coming into
younger
Plymouth.
Adults. He's talking about me.
Heck yeah. We're all younger adults. I don't know if an adult is the right word, but
I would be happy with younger.
I think everyone is.
Yeah. We already went over how I hurt my shoulder doing absolutely nothing. I don't think I can call myself younger anymore. Be like, what happened? My shoulder just fell off. I don't know what happened.
A little rest and relaxation, I think.
When the doctor starts, well, at your age, you're like, fuck you.
I feel like you never feel as old as you are.
It's
number thing
so much
weird.
of it is a state of mind.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
My son's 18 now. I'm like, I don't feel any different than I did when I was 18.
Yeah.
Until my shoulder's fucked up.
I listened to something recently. I don't know, it's probably just like a stupid little Instagram video or something, but someone was talking about how everyone always talks about life moving fast as you get older. And he said, I don't know if that's exactly true. I think you start honing in and appreciating or finding your way in the world. So like you're so set or you're so interested in that avenue that like you're just like more into it. Like there aren't a million things going on in your world like when you're 18 and have no idea what's going on.
Right.
You just start like honing in or like finding your avenues, and then you get more concentrated in that. And like, I don't know, with concentration and like persistence, I mean, sometimes you get lose track of time.
It's one of those like you're so concentrated on something that you're like, oh, right, I should get an oil change 4 months ago.
Yeah,
because
totally.
you just like, it's just not on my radar. It's just, I'm not even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably true that we get so concentrated on certain things that everything else just whizzes by.
Yeah.
So stop and smell the roses? Is that what you're saying?
Smell anything that's around or
Bacon.
growing near
Stop
you.
and smell the bacon.
Yeah, bacon, whatever's cooking, that's even cooler, yeah.
Stop and smell what's cooking, which is the rock. Isn't the rock always cooking?
A very big influential piece of my life.
Really?
No. But yes. Not big anymore, but as a kid, it was, I think my favorite people were, Rock was up there, Stone Cold was up there, Emeril Lagasse was up there.
Okay.
And Alton Brown probably. Top 4.
See, now you're talking my language.
And then some sports athletes, like baseball players and stuff in there, of course. But like, not anymore.
Yes, Alton Brown is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The only person I've ever bought and read cover to cover their cookbook.
Dope.
Because, cool. I mean, it was less about recipes and more like why you cook the way you cook.
That's why I thought it was so rad.
Yeah.
It was like the science behind why that bread rises. In the
right.
end.
And this is why you sear a steak. And this is, So if you're listening, go get fucking Alton Brown's cookbook and read it.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's doing any cooking shows at the moment. Is there something else? I know he does like hosting shows. But is he doing his own like cooking anymore?
Good Eats is coming back.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
It is back.
Yeah.
Oh, shame on me. Dang. All right, now
And
Tori's visiting her mom in South Carolina, so I'll be like
binge watching that.
Alton Browning at home.
Yeah, that'd be great. She'll be calling.
Yeah,
like, how you doing? You'd be like,
I'm finding out the science of why flan stays in its shape. Call me later.
Awesome, man. So, this was great. The next step, whatever it may be for Brothers Cash, you have to come back on and talk about it.
For sure, I'd love to.
Cool.
Yeah, as we start figuring it out.
Oh, shit. Where can people go online to find out where the fuck you're going to be and shit?
So
you were talking about Instagram.
Yeah, we're Instagram. We're out of the algorithm right now, though. We got to get back onto that thing. Instagram, we have our website up, and our Facebook is kind of like the Instagram second child, the dumping ground of Instagram content.
Yeah.
But gotta get more on Facebook, I think.
Yeah, but people can find you. There's their Brothers Cash website.
brotherscash.com.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you post where you're going to be?
Yeah, we have a calendar down there for all public events, and we kind of we block off whenever we're doing private events and whatnot.
Nice.
Yeah.
So check it out. Go see them. Give them shit because they're good guys.
Yeah. Book your next holiday party tray with us.
Yeah. And their food's fucking amazing.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, dude, that's what we're here for.
Right on.
And just as a closing moment, Out of the Algorithm is my folk band.
For real?
Well, it's going to be now.
Oh, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. I feel like that's great. Yeah.
Out
of the Algorithm. Yeah. Do you want to play let's see, harmonica? You can be the harmonica guy.
The only thing I've ever really mastered is the recorder, I think.
All right, so you're the recorder guy in this folk band.
Nick has more of the musical talent.
We didn't invite Nick yet. He's not here.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So we'll put the word out, start in the band, go check out Craigslist. We'll have the ad there soon.
$500 a gig doing anything.
I'm not posting that ad on Craigslist. $500 for anything? Have you been on Craigslist?
Musically?
Okay, that's sort of better, but
recorder heavy music.
All right, we'll talk. We'll work. That's plan B.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, I like that. I always like having multiple plans.
All right. Well, thanks for being on, man.
Thank you, Andy.
All right. Okay, thanks for checking out the podcast. And don't forget to check out our other podcasts on the Inebri-art Podcast Network. There's the Bar Talk. There's Old Colony Cast. There's, of course, the Inebri-art Podcast. And our latest, Retro Redoctopus, a kind of nerd genre podcast that you can check out now, all available on our website at inebri-art.com, and pretty much available everywhere that podcasts are available, on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, all those things. And if you don't see it where you're looking, let us know. We'll try to get onto that as well. And you can also email us at inebri-art@yahoo.com with your questions, complaints, and suggestions. And also, if you could take the time to rate and review us on iTunes, that would be phenomenal. That helps us get more exposure and bring more of these great podcasts to your ears. And thanks again for listening.